Jesus and his friends had had a long, tiring day. Jesus had been out teaching, healing, and feeding people for hours. When the day was finally over and the large crowds of people were leaving, Jesus told his disciples to get into their boat and go back to the other side of the lake. When everyone was gone, Jesus went up to the top of a mountain to rest and pray. When Jesus had finished praying, it was early in the morning and still dark outside. He came down to the shore where the disciples had left hours earlier. He could see their boat far out in the water. He could also see that the disciples were having a hard time steering the boat because of the wind and the waves, and he knew that he had to get to the other side and help. So even though the water was deep and the night was windy, Jesus began to walk towards his friends, right on top of the water. Jesus walked and walked until finally he was close enough to the disciples that he could see each one of them on the boat. All of a sudden, the disciples turned and saw Jesus too. But it was dark and they were tired and scared, so they didn't recognize him. They had never seen a person walk on water before, so they had no idea what to think. "What is that?" they cried, staring into the night. "What if it's a ghost? Ah!" Jesus saw immediately that the disciples were scared and confused. He didn't want them to be, so he called out to them in a strong, loving voice, "It's okay. It's me. It's Jesus. Don't be scared." But Jesus' friends still were not sure. One of them, a man named Peter, decided to try a little test to make sure that the person walking on water was Jesus. He said, "Lord, if it's really you, then tell me to step out of the boat and walk on the water too." Jesus said, "Okay, come." The other disciples watched as Peter carefully got out of the boat and began to walk on the water towards Jesus. Quickly, though, he looked around and realized how very big the waves were and how very deep the water was, and he began to sink. Panicking, he cried out, "Lord, save me or I'll drown." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught Peter before he sank. Jesus helped Peter back into the boat. "You have so little trust in me, Peter," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt?" Jesus was asking why Peter felt a need to test Jesus in the first place. Why didn't Peter believe that Jesus was who he said he was? Why did he doubt Jesus when he saw the wind and the waves? As soon as Jesus got into the boat with his friends, the wind stopped and the water became gentle and calm. Then everyone in the boat knew that Jesus was really someone special. They worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are God's Son." Have you ever seen a lake or an ocean during a storm? What is it like to hear the wind and watch the waves? What are some things that make you feel afraid? What helps you to be brave when you're scared? In this Bible story, we see that Jesus stays close to his friends and cares for them even when they're afraid and doubtful. Can you try to remember this week that God is always with you, no matter how hard or scary things become? This story is taken from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 14.
God's story. Peter walks on water. So remember how part of God's story is about a guy named Simon who was renamed Peter because he was one of the first people to follow Jesus? Well, it goes like this. Peter left everything to follow Jesus with 11 other guys. They were called disciples. And one day, they were with Jesus while he was teaching a large crowd. After teaching, Jesus wanted some time alone to pray. He told his disciples to go ahead of him in a boat across the Sea of Galilee. Later that night, the wind picked up, and the boat was surrounded by crashing waves. Meanwhile, Jesus decided to join them. And since Jesus can do anything, he walked out to the boat, right on top of the water. When the disciples saw a man walking across the dark sea, they had no idea it was Jesus. They thought it was a ghost. Jesus said, "Be brave. It's me. Don't be afraid." Peter decided to find out for himself. He said, "If it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." So Jesus said, "Come." Kids, if Jesus told you to step out onto the stormy waves, would you do it? Well, Peter did. He got out and walked on top of the water just like Jesus. As soon as he saw the crashing waves, though, he got scared and started to sink. Jesus caught him and said, "Your faith is so small. Why did you doubt me?" It might sound kind of surprising that Jesus called Peter's faith small when he was the only one brave enough to get out of the boat. But the truth is, Jesus is powerful and can help us do anything. He wants us to trust him even when it makes no sense or scary things are happening around us. When Jesus and Peter climbed into the boat, all the disciples realized Jesus is most definitely the Son of God, so they worshiped him. And that's part of the story of Peter. So, in case you missed it, here's the quick version. Peter was a disciple. The disciples got in a boat. Jesus prayed, waves crashed, Jesus walked on water. The disciples got scared. Jesus told Peter to come. Peter walked on water. He saw the waves. He got scared. He sunk. Jesus caught him. The disciples worshiped Jesus. And that's a part of God's story.
Oh, sorry.
On a spinning ball, and they all mean the world to you. It's times like these that I feel so small. There must be something I can do. I played it safe in shallow water, never had the faith to cross the border. God, I've gotten good at being comfortable. It's time to leave my comfort zone. 'Cause you said go, go. I will make you fishers of men. If this life is like a candle that you gave us to burn, God, we wanna light up the night. Instead of living without, we should be living it out. To let your love be magnified. 'Cause you said go, go. I will make you fishers of men. Go, go. I don't care who or where you've been. So don't you be afraid.
Romans to Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st Timothy, 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, and Hebrews, and James, and 1st Peter, 2nd Peter, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation. Hey, hey, he is the truth, the life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way. The truth, the life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way. The New Testament. Psalm, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Acts, Romans to Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st Timothy, 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, and Hebrews, and James, and 1st Peter, 2nd Peter, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation. Hey, hey, he is the truth, the life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way. The truth, the life, the way. He is the truth, the life, the only way.
is life. Oh, 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 that you came and you died. Oh, 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 took my place, now I'm saved. Oh, 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 now I'll live forever with you one day. This is love, this is life. Oh, 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 that you came and you died. Oh, 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 took my place, now I'm saved. Oh, 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 now I'll live forever with you one day. We're living 'cause you're alive. No worries 'cause you made us right. We're living 'cause you're alive. No worries 'cause you made us right. We're living 'cause you're alive. No worries 'cause you made us right. We're living 'cause you're alive. No worries 'cause you made us right. This is love, this is life. Oh, 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 that you came and you died. Oh, 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 took my place, now I'm saved. Oh, 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 now I'll live forever with you one day. This is love, this is life. Oh, 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 that you came and you died. Oh, 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 took my place, now I'm saved. Oh, 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 now I'll live forever with you one day. We're living 'cause you're alive. No worries 'cause you made us right. We're living 'cause you're alive. No worries 'cause you made